What's good, everybody? Look, y'all know who I am. I go by the name of Gabriel Ori, and this is my business partner co-host.
What's up, y'all? J.R. Johnson.
Listen, man, this is another Freedom Friday. Y'all know how we like to do, right? And we have a very special guest in the green room with us. But before we bring this guest on, I want y'all to click share for Facebook and for YouTube. What do they click on YouTube?
Subscribe
To the channel. Share the video.
Most definitely.
Yeah, share the video. We're kind of new to the YouTube space as far as like being on YouTube like that.
Yeah.
And that's why I said that. But Facebook definitely knows who we are. So hey, it's all about expanding. JR, how was your day, bro?
My day is pretty good, man. Been down for the count this morning.
Sound like it.
Little bug bit me, but I bounce back. I fight back, so I'm good.
Y'all listen, man, this is another great day to be alive, a great day to expand your horizons. If you're gifted, let your gift make room for you. This podcast is called Ask a Producer, but we like to say that even though we're into music and we're into the music business, this podcast in itself is not only about music, it's about people who are producing right in life, producing positivity and positively, using their gifts, their talents, their know-how, their skills, right, to impact not only themselves but the community around them and making the world a better place to live. And those are the type of people that we like to bring on. And this pod is no different. I want y'all to tag people who are in the healthcare business, tag people who are in life insurance, tag people who are on the grounds, boots on the ground, civil rights advocacy, because we have a very special guest who dibbles and dabbles into all of that. And I'm going to shut my mouth and present to some and introduce to others. JR, I want you to bring him on when I say it. The one, the only Mr. Lee Moultrie.
That's the man right there.
That's the man right there. What's going on, Mr. Lee?
How you doing, my brother Gabriel? How you doing, brother JR?
All is well, sir. Good to see you, man.
Hey, you know how they say in church, blessed and highly favored.
Highly favored. We thank God for blessing us.
Yes, sir. But listen, I'm not even going to waste time. I know I gave you a little soft introduction, but why don't you introduce yourself in your way to our platform?
Well, thank the two of you for inviting me to be a part of your team, your audience here. I am a native North Charleston person. I'm from Accoby. I left Accoby in 1967. We moved up in the world. We moved to Romney Street Project, downtown Charleston. So August 31st, this Saturday will be my 30th year being retired from the Air Force. It's an honor to have served our country. I've been in healthcare at the university level for the past 24 years, between MUSC, USC, the Medical University of South Carolina, and the University of South Carolina, working with numerous nonprofit, for-profit organizations in the community, and a civil rights activist by being the lead plaintiff on a case that went to the U.S. Supreme Court in 2004. So this year is the 20th year that law has been in place that had disenfranchised the African-American community in Charleston County, that most people didn't realize for over 50 years. So I was a part of that team that changed that law in 2004.
Wow.
And so again, it's an honor to be here. Yeah.
Listen, man, I see that I'm looking at this list to my right, and there's a plethora of things that you are involved in. So my first question to you is, how you do it, man? How you wear all them hats and have the time, to still manage to even do a pod with us? You should be doing something else that I'm looking at this list. How do you do it all?
Brother, I'm trying to figure that out myself at times. But it's an honor to compartmentalize and do so many things because of the fact you're making sure when you get to this point in life that you're able to sit at tables and address certain issues, discuss things, move to the next table, and then you're able to pass information on to the next person. And that's what we're really trying to do. We're not trying to be everything to all. Like, say, for instance, I needed something done with my car. Well, I don't know anything about cars, so I had to find somebody to do that. I needed to get the grass, the lawn, because the landscaper told me, Mr. Moultrie, you don't have grass, you got lawn. I said, okay, so can you do this right here for me? So you have to know how to stay in your lane, do what you do well, and let other people do what they do well. That's the main thing. Whatever they do the best, you let them do what they need to do. They need to get compensated. They need to do whatever. You make sure that's done, but you allocating what you need to do. For me, is my mind to be able to think differently. One of my philosophies, I saw this guy who's a Nobel laureate, and his quote is this: discovery consists of seeing what everyone has seen, but thinking what no one has thought. So I have to think differently in order to impact change on many levels because I serve on different committees on the local, state, national, and international level.
Wow. So being diverse in these different ranges, what caused you to pursue these type of careers that you're tapped into?
Well, God blessed me to be able to learn how to listen and see a need. And as I saw the need, my thing is to get the information and then pass it out to the people of all ethnic background. Say, hey, here's this information. Take it to somebody else, get it out into the community and empower people. So in my military career, I went into the Air Force when I was 21. So we are learned my DNA is solution oriented. So I'm never looking at this as a problem. No, what is the solution to that? And so we get a solution, then we pass it to somebody else and say, hey, you take this back to the community and educate some other people. Then I go back in, I see something else. Then I say, oh, how do we address this issue? Then we take it to another aspect of the community. My wife might see something on the news or in the newspaper. She might say, hey, could you address this? And I'm like, why do I need to address it? She said, well, I know you have access to different resources to help people on many levels. And that's what we do. And one thing particular about, let me throw this in there, we try to do it very quietly that people don't see us.
And why
We
is
don't
that?
need to be on. We don't need to no, because we don't need to be seen on TV because sometimes that brings undue attention upon you and what you trying to manipulate.
Well,
Absolutely right.
welcome to MB. What'd you say we're part of?
Huh?
What'd you say we're part of? Welcome to the station.
The,
MNBC.
yeah, the MSNBC.
I'm just messing.
Yeah,
So
you guys, man, the questions that y'all gave me, those some hard hitting questions. I'm like, where y'all get these questions from?
so
Yeah, yeah.
so
Go
check
ahead.
it. So speaking of listening, I was listening to you in your introduction. You said you were in the health field for 24 years, is
Yes.
what you said. Now, was that your MOS in the Air Force?
Well, in the Air Force, we don't call it MOS. You were in the Army?
Yes.
Okay.
The greatest branch there
Yes,
is, you know.
I often tell people between the Army and the Marines, I just didn't qualify to do the things that y'all did.
Look at him low jabbing.
I wasn't qualified to do those things, man. And I'm like, but my profession in the Air Force was logistics management, supply chain, every aspect of transportation. We did water, truck, rail, air, hazardous material, classified material. Once I retired, I was doing some of that same work in the warehouse. And I told my wife, I've done this stuff for 17, 18 years. I can do this in my sleep. And I said, it's not a challenge. So I wanted to do something else. And so then that's when I got into healthcare. I got into healthcare. I have no background in healthcare. God just blessed me with the mind to just listen, sit, listen. And I got with a great mentor. And the only way I really got into the field was I was in the barbershop one Saturday and I saw a yellow bag that said, if you want to learn about prostate cancer, give me a call. So I called the guy, come to find out it was a brother in Ladson. We talked for about 30 minutes. Now, this is 99. This is 1999. And he said, if you want more information, stop by my house. I stopped by his house. We connected for about 3-4 hours. And it's 24 years later. That's it.
So, within the 24 years that you've been in healthcare, what are some of the things that you've seen, especially when it comes to the demographics and people with the knowledge of how healthcare and the system works? What are some of the things that you've seen that you can point out and say, yeah, this is one thing that's a challenge when it comes to healthcare?
Well, I would say from the patient perspective or from the institution perspective.
So give me one example from the patient's perspective and then one example from the institution perspective.
Okay, it'll be something I sent to JR earlier, and it's called health literacy. And I think probably you guys actually you probably have heard people in the medical field say now you have to advocate for yourself in healthcare, right? And I say that's difficult for you to do. For the majority of people in our society, it's very difficult for you to advocate for your health care. Why? To me, that's the healthcare community trying to get off easy because they haven't taught you how to advocate for yourself.
So explain a
You
little
don't know
bit what that means. What does it mean to
what that
advocate
means
for
is
yourself?
when you're communicating with a doctor or a nurse or whomever, you don't know the questions to ask them. You don't know based upon what. Is this evidence based or is this based on a research? Um, what needs to be done? Can I get? I'll use myself. I am a prostate cancer survivor. I was died. Now, this is what I want people who are listening here to understand. Very important. This is the most one part of the most important thing you're going to hear. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2015. I did not have treatment until 2021. Okay? Because my doctor told me it was a slow growing cancer. It was not necessary for me to do anything at that time. So, sometimes, be it men, women, and children, you may be diagnosed with cancer, and the doctor may be telling you, hey, you may not need to do anything now. Let's watch it. Let's monitor it. Let's see how it's going. And then we can make some adjustments based on these numbers. So I waited 6 years. Now, one thing else I want to say, we want all individuals, male, female, and children, to adhere to start getting screened based upon their ages. My first screening for prostate cancer was 39 years old in 1995. So from 39 years old to 59, I was being screened every year. Now, so what we're leaning to is having the patient understand what he or she is supposed to be doing each year, be it a mammogram or anything else. HPV, you'll see it on TV. HPV for children or young adults is from what age? From 9 years old to 45 years old. So you're supposed to be adhering to these and asking your doctor, how can I get screened for this or how I can do that? And then the medical community, this is what I sent today. It says, ask me three. Every time it says, ask me three. And it says, every time you talk with a doctor, nurse, or a pharmacist, use the ask me three questions to better understand your health. What is my main problem? What do I need to do? Why is it important for me to do this? Well, most places, hospitals out there don't have that. And most of the places, well, I've only seen it at Joint Base Charleston Primary Care facility. So when I'm at different facilities, I'm saying, hey, why don't you see if you can order this, get this to educate the patient, educate the providers, the doctors and nurses, and so on and so forth, so we can have an educated culture out here.
Now, let's pause right there. Do you see that? Because you just spoke from a patient's perspective. Do you see that as a problem that the institution just don't volunteer that information? Like if I'm coming, I have to pay to come see you as my doctor. Why wouldn't you just tell me, hey, here are the things that we see? Like you said, the ask me three. And I agree 100% that the patient should be asking, but I think, especially in our community, we are afraid of the answer. We're afraid of doctors. We're afraid to ask the questions because we don't want, I don't know, we psychologically
That's the
psyched out.
truth.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
psyched ourselves out of thinking that, everything come from a doctor is bad. So why doesn't the
Well, I
institution volunteer that information?
well sometimes you have to help institution make changes, and it's sometimes it's people within the institution. I think yeah, that's it right there. So I was working with my sister through a medical situation, and she was saying, well, this institution is this. And then, as I looked at it, discovery consists of seeing what everyone is seeing, but thinking what no one has thought. So after I analyzed what my sister brought to my attention, I said, you know what? Everyone says the institution, but it's not. It's the people within the institution. Whether they black, white, or different, it's them, not the institution. And so sometimes we have to help them change. Now, when I deal with the medical community, I look at us as African Americans. Now, I'm 67. I'll be 68 in September. The healthcare system is the system for everyone. Okay, so and it's not whether you black, white, Indian, Hispanic, male, female, all of that. When you're in that system, you're in a system that if you don't understand how to communicate within that system, which most people don't. And I'll give you an example. You say, well, why don't we know this? How many sports channel do you have on TV? And I don't know nothing about sports.
If
Why?
in general, everybody has
Yeah.
access to a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so why are we not educating people on how do you communicate with your provider when you go there? Why don't we educate people on what they should be doing with their children from birth up until 6, 7 years old, then up to 13, 14, 15, 16? Why are we not teaching them that on all of the different platforms we have? I have one of my books that I got from a doctor out of UCLA, and he says to his patient, I am only with you 45 minutes each year. The other 354 days and 15 seconds is up to you to figure out what needs to be done with your body. And this guy, this doctor, he runs the UCLA Men's Center, and he is a consultant with the Lakers and the Dodgers. Now, I am telling all of you who are listening here that your doctors are saying this to you. He and she is saying this to you. I am only with you for 45 minutes per year. It's up to you to figure it out. So it's up to us. As you see, some of the books in the back I'm dealing with there. I got all kind of books here, magazine, news, things I pick up when I go to the doctor. All of this stuff I'm picking up, reading, and see what can I do. Are some of you younger than 50, but AARP and your parents may be. These are the information that we're supposed to be putting in our head and sharing it through our network. So when I come to the doctor, I'm asking him or her. Matter of fact, the treatment that I had for prostate cancer, I had to live in Jacksonville, Florida for 2 months because I fired my local doctor in South Carolina because he did not bring this treatment to my attention. I discovered it myself. So I fired them. I sent them an email, said, thank you for all you've done for me the past umpteen years. As of this point, this doctor, this caseworker no longer needs to reach out to me. I will be being seen in Jacksonville, Florida by the Proton Therapy Center. So you have to learn as much as you can, pick up as much. When I go to Harris Teeter, every Harris Teeter I go by, there's magazines out there free. I grab those magazines. What are they talking about? Who are they talking to? That's information in there. So what if you don't get this information? What if the people who are listening now don't learn this health information? You go to your doctor and unfortunately they say, well, I'm sorry, he or she didn't make it. What happened? Well, we don't know. We're sorry. But could you have done?
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. But it's very interesting what you're talking about. When we come back, I want to delve a little more into you firing your doctor and your
Yeah.
medical team. I want us to talk about that because because you did it, I want you to explain how you did it and how other people can do something like that. All when we come back. This is Ask the Producer. And we're back. So listen, we're here rocking with Mr. Lee Moultrie, and he's been dropping some gems. Now, before we left, he told us that he fired his whole medical team, his doctors, his nurses, everybody. So, Mr. Moultrie, can you go back and elaborate more on why you fired them and how you did that?
Okay, what ended up happening, I was on a prostate cancer support group call out of New York. As I'm on the call, one of the guys put a book up saying you can beat prostate cancer without surgery. I said, "Well, what the hell is that?" They said, "Don't worry about it. Get the book. You'll appreciate it." I got the book. It was speaking about proton therapy. I had never heard of proton therapy before, which is a non-invasive treatment for various cancers, be it breast cancer, pediatric for children, so on and so forth. So I got the book. I called the facility up, the treatment facility in Jacksonville, Florida. I did an interview with them. They said, "Yes, sir, you qualified for this right here, this treatment." Now, before I did that, I checked with various institutions in South Carolina to see whether they were familiar with proton therapy because I'd never heard of it. And no one in South Carolina admitted that they knew about this treatment. Now, proton therapy has been approved by the federal government since 1988. And it's in 45 treatment facilities throughout the United States. All you have to do is Google National Association of Proton, Proton therapy. And once you go to that website, you see the 45 treatment facilities. You see the various cancers that they treat. Now, once I did that, I went down there. I had an interview with the facility. They said, "Yes, you're a great candidate for us." They said, "You're 65. Medicare would pay 80% of your bill. And since you're retired military, the federal government will pay the military will pay the other 20% of your bill." So I did that. In me doing that, that's Jacksonville. That's 4 hours from here. So what I ended up having to do, when you hear people talk about short-term rentals in Charleston and other places, well, that's where I lived at in Jacksonville. I lived in a short-term rental for 2 months. My treatment was once a day for 10 minutes each. Then I had nothing else to do with my time. Okay, because that's what our treatment. Now, once the doctor in Jacksonville said, "You were a candidate, you approved to come here, da 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 da," and then I got my, they gave us the different places that you can rent an apartment. Once they told me all of that was locked in, I had the last interview with my one of my doctors. We were talking just like this. The book was in the back of me where he could see that what I was talking about. And I'm talking to him, and he says, well, Lee, you've been doing good. If you want," he said, "your numbers are rising for prostate, and we think you need to have surgery right now." I said, "Right now," and that was like November. I said, "Could I wait a couple of months after the holidays to make sure that I'm okay with that and so on and so forth? I'll do it afterwards. Could I do that like January, February time, get the holidays out of the way?" He said, "Yeah, that'd be a good time to do that." Once he said you wasn't at a serious thing and I could wait till January, February, I knew I was good because I knew by the time I went to Jacksonville, I was finished in February with my treatment because it was 2 months. So at that particular time, I sent him and the other doctor and the case manager, all of them an email saying, "As of this moment, I no longer need your service." You have to understand, everyone that's listening, you are hiring people to take care of your health. And if you're not comfortable, you're feeling bad, and I don't get into the black, white, all of that right there. If I don't feel comfortable with, and now this doctor I had, he was like, Man, I love you, Lee. I wish I can be on the front line with you. I said, Doc, me and you praying together is good. You don't need to be on the front line with me as long as you taking care of my health. That's how close we were. But once I found another treatment that was better for me, I can terminate that relationship. That's my life. That's my life. And you got to realize it's your life, it's your children's life, it's your spouse's life, it's your parents' life, it's somebody's life. So you got to always be seeking information. How do you enhance the quality of life? How is there a particular treatment option that you didn't know about?
So speaking of information, how is it that this information is out in books and this doctor, the doctors you was with, and it seemed like a lot of doctors, they don't know what to do in regards to how to help someone get healed? Because you read a book and you learned information. Why is it that these doctors who are getting paid billions of dollars, they don't know these information, or are they withholding these information to get paid?
That's
What
it
type
right
of,
there.
what type of car do you drive?
Well, it depends.
No, I mean what, anyone.
An Infinity SUV.
Okay, so I want to go to the Infinity dealer and ask him, "Hey, can you tell me something about the Mercedes? Because I heard that 6 Series is pretty good." Nah, you don't need to be messing with that stuff there. This right here is good right here. You need that. No, but I heard that that's a better deal for me and so on and so forth. No, sir. That's it right there, Gabriel. And
Pay
I,
me.
it, you have to understand. I was speaking to a doctor after my treatment. And matter of fact, when you came into the treatment facility, the number one question we ask you, we don't care you white, black, or indifferent. Number one question we asked you when you come into the treatment facility was, how did you find out about this place? That's the number one question. How did you find out? And I was having coffee with a doctor once after my treatment. And I said, Doc, and here in North Charleston, I having a conversation with her. And I said, Doc, um, 98% of doctors will not tell you about the treatment that I had. She said, we can't tell you about that treatment. She said, I got malpractice insurance and another insurance. I can't remember what the other one was. But she said, if that treatment is not covered under my insurance and I know it can save your life, I still can't tell you. And that statement has been validated by numerous doctors, MDs, PhDs, and so on and so forth. So you cannot take your life lightly. You have to research, connect with other people to learn. I'm not, doctors are great people. I have so many friends. I'm on a board. I just got appointed to a clinical trial board, the oldest one, the largest one in the United States, in January, and I'll be on that board for the next 5 years. There are great doctors here, but you have to understand there's a responsibility upon us as patients, be it black, white, or indifferent, for us to adhere to some of the things that they're suggesting to us and to make some changes in our behaviors and outcome.
So, quick question. Do you believe that it is a right civilly for every human to receive this information without seeking for it? Is that a right civilly?
You got it right. You can Google it right now. Everybody, DL Hughley was just on the DNC and he apologized to Kamala Harris for what? He said, I said some things about you that was incorrect, and all it took me was 2 minutes to Google something.
No. So the question was, do you think that us as humans, no matter your race, ethnicity, do you have a right to receive that information without looking for it? Meaning, if
You
you, so go ahead.
From the doctor
if
or from?
From the doctor,
Yeah.
from the medical facility.
Mm.
And then
well
the flip side of that question is, should they divulge that information to you without you asking for it?
well you have to understand there's a level of responsibility on the doctor, there's a level of responsibility on the patient, and there's a level of responsibility in society. Okay, if I listen to the normal AM FM radio stations we got here locally, and I'm listening to Steve Harvey in the morning, Ricky Smiley, who the other guys, oh, whatever is out there in the radio. And if we hear that the African American community is dying disproportionately from this disease and that disease, why is it when I turn on any one of those radio channels, I'm not hearing that discussion? Okay, so are we gonna say it's the medical community when we have an opportunity to educate our own people and society, because all of those guys got whites and blacks and Hispanic listening to them, and you have a 1 minute second that you can educate your people, your listeners, why are you not doing it?
Mm.
So let's jump into the civil rights advocacy, the civil rights part of what you do. What key issues are you currently focusing on in the civil rights advocacy program?
I Healthcare is one. When I sit to the table, I want to make sure that you get access to the right information, that you can live a long, healthy life.
So
I
I heard you say earlier, I'm sorry for
Go
cutting
ahead,
you
go ahead,
off.
go ahead, go
I
ahead.
heard I heard you say earlier, your way of looking at discovery is seeing what everybody saw, but thinking differently, thinking in a different way. So everybody knows that there are some health disparities in our community. Everybody knows there's a gap, there's a separation. So how, because we all see that, right? That's already discovered. How do you think, and how can you come up with a different way to be able to get that information out, or to help us understand that we need to be looking out, like advocating for ourselves?
Yes. Okay. So, say for instance, if we're saying when if we go to Ravenel Bridge, we look at the ethnic groups that are out there walking that bridge, that 2.5 million, 2.5 mile bridge. How many white people? How many black people? How many Hispanic people? Then we say, why are we not seeing as many more African Americans walking there? Or why are we don't see as many more African Americans walking in the mall like some of the seniors do, or in your community? One lady told me when I was at Gold's Gym, she said, because I saw her at the gym, I think it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, ma'am, can I have a conversation with you? And she said, yes, sir. I'm like, I'm 60 something. And she said, yeah, you want to know how old I is? Yes, ma'am. And I'm like, you in here, and why the other younger people in here? She said, well, sir, when I leave the gym, I'm going over to Sam's and I'm going to walk the extremes of Sam's because there's air conditioning in there. Now, if we want people to exercise, we want people to develop an exercise program, 30 minutes walking per day. And if you can't do 30 minutes at one time, walk 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, 10 minutes in the evening. That's 30 minutes just to start out. Okay? Because we have to develop an exercise program. Once you do the walking, then we can move into anything else. And we have to make sure whatever exercise you're doing is based upon your age. I'm 68. I can't do what you guys do now at 34, 40 years old. Okay, I have to remember that. When I used to do spin. I used to do spin at the gym at 6:30 in the morning, 5:30, 6 in the morning. I can't do that no more. Unless I want a heart attack, and I don't want a damn heart attack. And we have to change the way we prepare food. That's another thing. I grew up in Ackerby. I grew up on Romney Street Project. It's straight up, bruh. So now I prepare my okra soup differently, my collard greens differently, and my cabbage differently. Okay, we have to understand this, that we have to make some adjustments now because, as JR was speaking earlier, as we get older, we going into home care. And as you become older, 70 years old, 75 years old, who is going to care for you? Because that's a lot of money. So one of the books I talk about, right, and matter of fact, in the Post in Korea, this Sunday, past Sunday, they had an article right there speaking about concierge services, specialized care for you, that you can have automatic access to that doctor. Well, if you, again, you got the Infinity money, you got the Mercedes money, that's good. But if you got a Toyota money, what do I need to do to sustain the quality of my life? 30 minutes of exercise per day, eating nutritionally balanced meals as much as possible. The food desert thing that people throw up to me, I don't get too much into that because of what? Most people can order from Walmart, Harris Teeter, neighbors can come together, group their things, have it come there, and then you can split it up. If churches wanted uh, a grocery store in the community and they don't have it, use it as a food desert, well, three, four churches can come together and go online and go Save a Lot and buy a franchise, because Save a Lot gives discounts to African Americans or minorities to open up a franchise. So now you got three, four, five churches in the same community buying that franchise to have a grocery store in their community. So now you'll never have to say you have a food desert.
Now that's a
Wow.
real
Wow.
tough conversation right there,
Yeah.
because that is true. Why can't the churches come together, right?
That's
And it
that's
seems simple enough. We all serve the same God, and
supposedly.
yeah, and we want to help the
Well,
community and impact that.
I only give solutions, brother.
Hey, but you got to give plans too now.
I I give you this. I just put the solution out in the hemisphere. Now people can look and see, go online, go to savealot.com. How do we buy a franchise in our community, be it in
but
Charleston, be it in Alabama, be it wherever? It's there. It's
but
been there.
here's where the issue comes, because see, I feel like what you're talking is an ideal situation. That's how we wanted to go. But the issue comes, well, who's gonna buy? Well, whose name is gonna go on it? And then we start bickering
And then it don't
over
get done.
small things, and then it doesn't get done.
And
That's
then
the
and then me, as the civil rights activist, solution oriented person, I said, I told you how to solve the problem. I'm going someplace else.
so let me ask you this. Is that approach right there, like, hey, I already told you, I gave you the solution, the ideal solution. I'm going somewhere else. Would you call that, like, because you was in the military? Is that the military approach for you?
No, that's let me see how I can put this. Most people who are solution oriented and big thinkers, they only say something one time.
Hmm. Explain.
They never repeat themselves. They go to the next thing. It said preparation plus opportunity equals
Equals,
success.
yeah.
Preparation plus opportunity equals success. Either you want to get something done or you want to play around. Either you remember the Matrix, the red pill and the blue
Yeah.
pill. So do you want the red pill, the blue pill, or the victim pill? It's up to you. I give two.
Let's jump into your
Huh?
let's jump into your book. So now you're an author.
Well, my book, what my book will, I apologize. My book should be finished by January. I had to stop it because I was invited by the Milken Institute, which is the billionaire. They had a think tank in North Carolina of 25 people to discuss a certain issue. I was one of the 25 that was invited there in June. So I wanted to make sure that that was put into the book about sitting around the table with other people from throughout the United States to discuss issues relative to healthcare, the supply chain, and what are the problems that you see? What are the problems you're seeing, and how do you think we should address it?
So is this going to be your first book?
Yes.
And do you have a title for it already, or no?
No. I got one. It's relative to prostate cancer, similar to what the other guy had. You can beat prostate cancer and other cancers without surgery.
Oh, so it's coming from your experience
Yes.
with that particular thing.
Well, that and
Nice,
everything
nice.
else, because I'm gonna deal with exercise in there. I'm gonna deal with food preparation in there. I'm gonna deal with how do you change your mind. I look.
I think that's the key.
Yeah.
I think that part right there, how to change your mind. That part I believe is the whole
That's
underlining.
the
That's the
problem
root.
root for us as African Americans.
That's the
Our
root.
mindset
That's
needs to change.
How can you change your mind?
That's the
did
title of
you
the book right
change them?
there.
I was invited to a discussion once on transformation mind. I said transforming mind. Oh, I've been doing that for the past 36 years. So because that's what scripture talks about. Romans 12, 1 and 2. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So, in order to transform your mind, you have to put in new information and a very diverse amount of information in your mind to communicate with a large sector of society. Now, the only thing that I don't know anything about is sports.
So, uh,
JR know all about that.
That's good that you know that. But when I'm sitting in the certain room, I tell people I don't know about sports, but I can talk to you about what's happening on the International Space Station. So we can communicate that. I can communicate with you about how do you do certain things to sustain your life a little longer, your family life a little bit more. If you're not happy with your doctor, when do you call in a functional medicine doctor? Uh, you You said a functional medicine doctor. Yeah, that's when the traditional doctor don't know, can't figure out what's going on to you. Then that's when you call in a functional medicine doctor.
uh,
So
but
give us a give the young viewers, because we have a lot of younger viewers that watch this. Give them a playbook, if you will, of because in theory, ideally, when you're young, you don't have all of these different ailments, diseases, things going on. You're strong, you're healthy. So give the young healthy person a blueprint of how to remain that way throughout the course of their life.
Oh my God. Lord Jesus. That's so profound. That's powerful. Because if you're a young person, my God, I bow to you with much respect to you. I would suggest to you, if you're a young person out there, you develop a good routine of exercise. Like I said, 30 minutes of walking. First, what you want to do, Google screening guidelines for my gender, be it female or male. You Google that, and it tells you the different screening guidelines you should be adhering, you should be doing based upon your age and gender. Then we had the exercise, and then you can have a diverse amount of exercise. I do Pilates, I do water aerobics, I do anything there is. Don't limit yourself to one thing. And make sure that when you're exercising, you're careful not to hurt yourself. Now, what you want to look out for now that's on the exercise part. Now let's go to eating. You want to be careful with all of this processed food and ultra processed food. Why? Because the cardiologist has said they don't know what these processed food and ultra processed food is going to do to children or young adults' bodies. So you can, as I eat cabbage, collard greens, and okra soup, all of those are plant based, but I still eat protein at the same time. You can prepare these. If you don't have time to prepare these, you can get frozen fresh vegetable and you can use that. Now, so with the nutrition, that's what you want to look at. And you want to look out. Somebody might say, I don't know. I heard something in passing, meatless meat. Okay, I'm not that intellectual. I don't have a degree, so I don't know. But it was meatless meat and ain't no meat in there. That sounds like it's chemicals. So I don't know. I don't know. So when you're looking at chemicals that you're putting in your body, you want to be careful with these chemicals you put in your body. It might sound good. You can dress it up or you want to dress it up. Be careful what you're putting in your body. You want to live to be, I'm 68. I want to live to be 120. Is it possible? Yes, it is. It's called the blue zones. The blue zones are where people live throughout the world to over 100 and in good health. And it's called blue zones. So you can yeah, you can see that. And there's a book on it too to show you how to implement that within your family. It's real. Black people, okay, I've been black for 68 years or 67 years. We can do these things. Don't let nobody fool you to talk about the disparities out there and this happened to black people. BS. All we have to do is make the necessary adjustments. I don't care what age you are to live. And the young people, again, just you develop that habit now. You ain't got to be out there no marathoner, no Olympic, but you take care of your body. When you get older, more mature, you'll have a healthy body and you won't need the medical system as much. That's what we want you to do. Anytime the people want to come back, they can reach out to me on my Facebook, all social media, my website, leehmoultrie.com. We'll have all of that stuff there for you. But no, get engaged and have healthy relationship with each other. So people tell I communicate with guys nationally, and they're always saying, "I just want us black people to be together. All black people together." No, I don't want that. I want to sit around a table with diverse people because they have different information they bring to the table for all of us. All the information I've shared with you tonight, ain't nobody black gave me this information,
Wow.
and
Oh,
they
we
knew,
know.
and they knew it.
Wow.
Okay,
Lee
so
Moultrie, y'all.
Well, listen, I know you gave out your information, but you, as far as people can reach you, can you give that one more time? How can people reach you, follow you, um, wherever you are?
As you see my name there, Lee Moultrie. Um, you can follow me on all social media sites, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, X, whatever there, all of those right there. You can go to my website, leehmoultrie.com. It'll be an honor to answer anyone's questions. It'll be an honor to come to your church, organization, fraternity. And if you're out of state, there's no problem with me doing a Zoom or whatever it is to do a discussion with your groups and connecting you with resources that you may have a question about. I was I was communicating with someone recently, and they were having a problem. And this, I said, "Well, how long has this been going on?" They said, "Well, probably about 3 years." I said, "Well, have you spoken to a womb care person, doctor? A womb care?" I said, "Yeah, womb care." They said, "Well, my doctor never mentioned that." I said, "Well, no, yeah, that's what you need to do. You need to check with a womb care doctor based upon what you just described to me versus you just putting ointment on this and hoping this goes away."
Mm. Don't laugh, Gabe.
All you need is a little ointment, man. A little. Well, Mr. Moultrie, we thank you, man, for coming on the platform. I think this is a first as far as talking about health.
Yeah.
I really wanted to dive into that. So we appreciate your time, man. Like you wear a lot of hats, and you have a lot of information. And so kudos to you. You're 68 right now. So flip that
67, I'll
number,
be
86.
68 next month. The last thing I would like
Okay.
to last thing I would like to throw for everyone. Everyone should be reading 3 different books every day. 3 different books. 10 minutes for breakfast, 10 minutes for lunch, and 10 minutes for dinner. A different books because that's where the transformation comes in at. About reading. Move away from novels. We move away from the stuff with you killing somebody. How do we make our mind rich? That's what we want to do. And if you need some reference, come to my website. I'll have some books on there if they're not on there already.
Nice, nice.
Thank y'all for
JR,
the
you got
opportunity
anything
to be
else?
here.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you
Yes,
for
sir.
coming, man. Yeah, I got one last thing. And speaking of books, in the book of Hosea, God said that his people are destroyed because of lack of knowledge and that they reject knowledge. And this information right here has been put out, so don't reject it. Take the truth of it. Oftentimes, like Abe said, we don't want to hear the truth because, I mean, yeah, truth is hard to grasp. It's a big, big tool to just stuff inside you. But, you know, we got to have the truth in order to continue on in this life. So don't reject the knowledge. There's a lot of information from this man. So, Mr. Moultrie, I appreciate you for coming on and being a blessing to the show. So, this won't be the last. Hope not.
It won't be. Thank you, my brothers. I love y'all. I love you. Young people, I love y'all too. And old people too. I love y'all too.
Well, listen, I go by the name of Gabriel Ori. This is my business partner.
JR.
And yo, we out.